Hansel and Gretel lived in a small house nestled deep in the woods. They lived with their father, a poor woodcutter, and their stepmother. Times were hard, and the family struggled to make ends meet. There was often very little food on the table, and hunger was a constant companion. One day, the stepmother had a bad idea that would change everything.
"Leave them there," she insisted with a cold heart. "We don't have enough food for them." She argued that it was the only way for the rest of them to survive.
The father was sad and conflicted. He didn't want to leave his beloved children, Hansel and Gretel, but he was afraid of his wife's wrath and felt he had no choice. So the next morning, with a heavy heart, they walked into the woods, deeper and deeper. Hansel, sensing something was wrong, stayed alert. He picked up white pebbles, knowing they might be useful. He dropped them along the path one by one, creating a trail. He hoped the pebbles would help them find their way home, back to the small house in the woods they loved so much. The children walked deep into the woods. They played games and picked flowers. They didn't notice how far they had gone. Soon it was getting dark. The children were scared. They looked for the pebbles, but the pebbles were gone.
"We're lost. What will we do?"
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
The children wandered through the trees. They were tired and hungry. The woods were dark and scary. Strange animals made noises in the night. The sun rose. The children were still lost. They walked and walked. Finally, they saw something amazing, a little house. But this was no ordinary house. This house was made of candy. It had a gingerbread roof and candy cane windows. The walls were made of cookies and frosting.
Look, Gretel, a candy house.
They ran to the house. They were so hungry. They broke off pieces of the house and started to eat. As the children ate, they heard a voice.
"Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who is eating at my house?"
An old woman came out of the house. She smiled at the children, but, her smile was strange.
"Hello, children. Come in. Come in. I have lots of treats."
Hansel and Gretel went inside. The old woman gave them sweets and warm milk. The children were so tired, they fell fast asleep. When they woke up, they were in a cage. The old woman wasn't nice anymore. She was a wicked witch. She had trapped them. The witch fed Hansel lots of food day after day, hoping he would become plump and juicy. She wanted to eat him. Her eyes gleamed with hunger as she imagined her feast. Every day she checked to see if he was fat enough. But Hansel was clever. He tricked the witch by using his wits and cunning. He gave her a chicken bone to feel instead of his finger, making her believe he was still too thin.
"You're still too thin. Eat more," she demanded, pushing more food towards him.
Gretel felt sad for her brother. She watched helplessly as he was forced to eat. She knew they had to escape. Together they whispered plans of freedom whenever the witch wasn't looking. One day the witch decided to cook Hansel. She could wait no longer. She told Gretel to build a fire, preparing for the dreadful feast. Gretel pretended she didn't know how, buying them precious time.
"You silly goose. I'll show you." The witch snapped, growing impatient.
The witch opened the oven door. This was their chance. Hansel and Gretel exchanged a quick glance, ready to act. Gretel was small, but she was brave. She had always been the more daring of the two siblings, never shying away from a challenge, no matter how daunting it seemed. She took a deep breath and pushed the witch with all her might, summoning every ounce of courage she had. The witch fell into the oven with a shriek that echoed through the forest, her evil plans thwarted by the brave little girl. Gretel quickly slammed the oven door shut, ensuring the witch could never escape and harm anyone again. Hansel and Gretel were free. They had outsmarted the witch, and now nothing could hold them back. They ran out of the candy house and into the woods, their hearts pounding with excitement and relief. This time, they followed a little stream, knowing it would guide them to safety. They knew that streams led to rivers, and rivers led to towns. It was their best chance to find their way back home. Finally, they saw a familiar sight, their own village, the place they had missed so dearly. They ran all the way home, their feet barely touching the ground as they raced towards their father. Their father was so happy to see them. He hugged them tight, tears of joy streaming down his face. He had missed them so much. The stepmother was gone, and now they could be a family again. The children told their father everything, from the candy house to the witch and their daring escape. He promised to always protect them, never letting anything come between them again. Hansel and Gretel were safe at last, their hearts filled with happiness and their future bright with promise.